Okay, hello and welcome to this quick revision guide for psychology. This revision guide is part of a set of videos that are designed to help you review, revise and recap some of the core ideas when using GRAVEDS to evaluate in psychology. So GRAVEDS will help you in your evaluations of psychological studies. It will also help in your evaluation of psychology's research methods. But please do remember that GRAVEDS is not to be used to evaluate theories in psychology. So just make sure you use your GRAVEDS points to help with the identification of strengths and weaknesses in terms of studies and methods. So in this short revision guide, we are going to be looking at the use of different experimental research designs. So when we look at designs, we are looking at the advantages and disadvantages of the chosen experimental research design that's been used within the study by the researcher. So this includes considerations of the use of independent groups designs, where two or more independent groups take part in each condition of the IV. The use of repeated measures designs, whereby the participants take part in both or more conditions of the IV. Within participant design, which is within correlations, and a match pairs design, whereby you will match the groups that you are going to use on a particular demographic characteristic and then separate them into independent groups design. So our first example here is Baddeley's short-term memory, long-term memory encoding study. So he used independent groups. So he allocated his participants into one of 4 groups to take part in only one of the 4 word list conditions. So that was either acoustic similarity, acoustic dissimilarity, semantic similarity, or semantic dissimilarity in the word lists. By doing so, he eliminated order effects, so the participants didn't get bored or tired. And he also eliminated demand characteristics, which is a positive of using independent groups design because people don't guess the aim of the study. And for example, Baddeley used a surprised recall test for his long-term memory data, so they would have known that that was coming had they done repeated measures. It is also, however, a weakness in the sense that within each of those 4 independent groups, there could have been participant variables as a result of individual differences between those participants. So independent groups can be both positive and negative. For our second example, we can have a look at Sheriff's Robbers Cave study. So he allocated the boys that he sampled into 2 particular groups, the Rattlers and Eagles. But the boys were matched on their IQ, their teacher reports, their backgrounds and things like athletic abilities. So it was a match pairs design, and then once the groups had been matched as closely as possible, they were then separated out into their 2 independent groups. An advantage of this is that the boys were as closely matched as possible, so it does attempt to eliminate most of the participant variables that come from individual differences. So that would be a positive. However, it doesn't always eliminate every possibility of individual difference and characteristic of each of those boys. So although he matched them as best he could, it may not have been fully matched, and therefore that could have weakened the findings of his study. Okay, so that brings you to the end of this particular quick revision guide about the use of GRAVEDS in the evaluation of studies and methods. So it would be useful for you to review all of your core studies that you've learned about across your psychology course, and check that you're happy with the way in which you have used your experimental research designs to give strengths and or weaknesses of each of those studies. Once you have done that, be then quite good to have a look at the remaining videos to help recap on the rest of GRAVEDS.